Today we are discovering what secrets Survivor Redemption Island did not tell us in the edited television show. Some of these will be game related, some are strategic, and some are just plain silly. Basically, as long as it isn't part of the show that aired on television, it is fair game to be considered a secret. And while most of the secrets here are focused on Survivor Redemption Island, some of them do apply to Survivor as a whole. With that, thanks for watching Once Upon an Island. Liking and subscribing really helps, and if you want to pick what videos I make and watch every video weeks and even months early, then consider supporting the channel on Patreon. For example, I have a video detailing the entire rivalry of Rob versus Russell that spans Heroes versus Villains and Redemption Island. If that interests you, then check out the link in the description. Thank you for your support. Heads up, this list contains the secrets that I personally found to be the most interesting. Not every single secret in existence about this season is in this video. So with that, let's count all 31 of them in absolutely no particular order.
39 days, 18 people, 1 survivor.
Number 1. Whether you loved or hated Phillip this season, he was easily the biggest character they had aside from Rob and Russell. But that doesn't mean the marketing team took it easy on him. Oh no. This ad I'm about to show you all about him is very real, as CBS made it themselves.
I'm a former federal agent. Special Agent Shepard. That was my first and middle name for years. I'm an expert in analyzing people's behavior.
Who cares?
You're in Survivor. You find yourself going back to that primal state.
I love women.
I will outlast any man.
What about the women?
That's another day. We'll see.
He's a spaz about everything.
My vote tonight will be for Francesca.
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 Maybe there's a little bit of instability there.
You approach me because she has an immunity idol.
Number 2. The preseason hype amongst the fandom at the time was mixed, I would say. Many were tired of seeing Russell, especially with his large ego and how he had now been on 3 of the past 4 seasons. Plus, this was Boston Rob's 4th time playing, something no one else had done before him. So, as I said, it was a mixed bag, but these two still went all out on smack talking each other before the season began.
Rob, you know, when he's talking all that mess at the live show, you know, I ain't seen him since then. He took off running.
You want me to talk about that little hobbit? You want me to?
Let's go in the back room and settle this. That's how I want to deal with it. I want to get in a cage with that dude. I want blood to be shed.
I'm gonna kick his ass. I'm gonna make him pay.
Russell Hantz, 2-time MVP. You know the difference between us? Nothing.
He's a legend in his own mind.
And I can feel the energy. I believe the audience is going to love it. I don't think anybody is going to be tired of seeing Russell.
Number 3. The rumor mill around seasons 19 and 20 is that Russell leaked the boot order and spoiled a lot about those seasons. When stuff like this gets out, this of course causes people to be jerks to others by spreading these spoilers in places no one wants them so that they can ruin our enjoyment of the show. Believe it or not, they actually addressed this on live television with Russell.
I want to ask you about a serious question though, because there have been some allegations that there have been some leaks out there and that you have been the source of those leaks. And I think as a lot of people know, there is a huge confidentiality clause,
Right.
punishable by up to $5 million if you're found guilty of having perpetrated this offense. Are you guilty? Can you tell us now?
The problem is with me, I am that villain, and people take shots at me, even though it's not really who I really am in real life. It's 100% false, and I just, it's hard for me to sit there and take it, but I do.
So you say
I don't give it any credit whatsoever.
So you're going to sit there and say you are innocent because this will be used in the court of law.
Definitely.
Number 4. When Russell lost redemption in episode 4, you either loved that he was gone or wished that he had stayed longer. Well, I believe Sandra Diaz-Twine is firmly in the first camp.
I laughed my ass off. We actually had a Facebook party. We named it WrestleMania. I think we partied the whole week. As a matter of fact, my profile page, I had a hat on, a party hat. We were making noise. I mean, I'm still sore from screaming that day.
Do you still talk to him, ever?
I don't acknowledge Russell. I don't talk to Russell. I don't have any kind of communication with Russell. I don't need to and I don't have to.
Number 5. Going into the season, I don't think anyone predicted Russell wouldn't make the merge. Just look at how well he did the first 2 times. How could he not make the merge? Especially Jeff Probst, who had high hopes for him.
Stephanie, if I'm right, will be first off. The best thing Russell has going is he's on a tribe with Stephanie, because you can't get rid of Russell before you get rid of Stephanie.
Number 6. Did you know Phillip has an ego? I know, what a shocker. With Rob, Phillip, and Russell, their egos are too much, at least for me. Phillip thinks very highly of himself, and here's what he really thinks of himself preseason, and I don't think he's joking.
I've got a great Magic Johnson-like smile, especially when it's coming from within. It's not me just flashing it just like I just did. If I find something funny, people are disarmed, frankly, by it.
Number 7. The Tribal Council set this season is just okay for me. I think other seasons have been far more inspired, and therefore the creativity that goes into them makes me go, wow, that's a Tribal Council set. This season, just okay. But I found the making of Tribal Council this season way more fascinating because they go into more detail about it, and here's everything about it.
Behind me, you can see a couple of things going on. The statues, and actually almost everything at Tribal Council, is based on the idea that it was formed from volcanic ash or carved from volcanic ash. Then he's got a crew of 18 guys who do the bulk of the construction, but once you add in the teams that decorate the set, help build the fires, and sit in on rehearsals, it takes more than 100 crew members to get Tribal Council ready. A great thing about visiting so many different countries is that we can draw on the talents of local craftsmen. This season, we've hired local experts in the traditional Nicaraguan style of thatched roof who are going to ensure that in 4 weeks, we have a dry set. So it was just 7 weeks ago, this was an empty field, and now, take a look at this. With the efforts of over 100 crew, 15,000 pieces of thatch, and more than 3 tons of lumber, a formerly empty field is now ready for tonight's Tribal Council.
Number 8. Russell Hantz was delusional. I know, not really a secret. Coming off the high of back-to-back Final 3 finishes, a game against all newbies, and against Boston Rob seemed like a piece of cake for him. But that reaction by everyone on the beach in episode 1 really says it all, and he doesn't get it.
The other tribe was kind of nonplussed by it. Russell said to me as he was getting ready to walk over, why didn't I get a reaction? He still doesn't get it. He still thinks everybody loves him. Rob could win Survivor. He could win it. These people would give it to him. Russell, good luck.
Number 9. Do you think it is better to be feared or respected on Survivor? Does one favor the social game more than the other? I think Rob this season made everyone fear him, and by the end they had no choice but to respect his game. At least more so than Natalie or Phillip. Russell, on the other hand?
Why should I come out here now and be the nice guy? If I did that, I would be voted off first. Because people would say, oh, something's up. They have to fear me. Play the social game, Russell. It's your Achilles heel. Play the social game. My social game is perfect. It's outwit, outlast, outplay, not out-socialize. It's a problem that needs to be fixed, and I'm here to fix it.
Number 10. Sadly, Ralph passed away recently, and I think we can all remember him as the goofy country guy who ruined Russell's game by finding the idol on accident. However, sometimes it's also impossible to understand him, and Jeff found this funny.
I don't know exactly what to find to eat. The old saying is, if you hold it down 9 seconds and without throwing up, it's all right, eat it.
You can't understand anything Ralph says. Not a word. He said, I don't want a house and build a little thing, we'll tear it up and
Number 11. If I ever played on Survivor, I know for a fact I would be sizing everyone up before the game began, as I'm sure most of you all would be doing as well. So, I want to know, who's my competition? Well, Francesca in the preseason, she had a way to size up her competition, and this is not the route I would have gone, but I find it very interesting.
It's kind of embarrassing.
She has got a lippy mouth. She already had nicknames for all these guys, even before they'd spoken.
The Silver Fox. How about Pigeon Hollow? Let's see, Cougar Town. Oh, they're the Ashleys. How could I forget about the Ashleys? There's Hipster Mountain.
Number 12. That first Tribal Council this season was a bit nuts, with Phillip basically running unfiltered. Not a good idea. This angered many people, including Christina, who takes revenge on him in this secret scene.
After we had Tribal Council the first night, I was really annoyed at Phil. He screwed Francesca and I over pretty bad. Oh, anything I can think of to make his life miserable, I'm gonna do. What I did was I broke his zipper on his pants. God, it's a bummer when your zipper breaks.
Apparently when we went out, the whole tribe, when I returned, I noticed that the zipper had been somehow or another compressed on one side, held very tightly. Not sure how that came about, but in the meantime, we are not going to be walking around as a senior citizen, almost at 52, with our fly open. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Number 13. Right after winning the season, Rob was given his own show on the History Channel called Around the World in 80 Ways. So what is the show all about?
In the 1880s, the challenge was to cross the globe in 80 days. Now, 2 men take it to the next level. Boston Rob and Dennis Anderson are going around the world in 80 ways. 80 modes of transportation used throughout history.
Come on, man, giddy up.
With only one rule.
Now watch out, watch where you're going.
They can't use the same mode twice. Around the world in 80 ways. You gotta be kidding me. Premieres Sunday, October 2nd at 10, only on History.
Number 14. So now you may be wondering, how good was Around the World in 80 Ways? Well, it lasted 10 episodes and it was not renewed for a second season. For me, after seeing this clip, which is the most viewed from the show on YouTube, I can't imagine why they didn't keep it going.
All right, here we are in Brazil, and Rob won the race. It's pretty obvious. Maybe he cheated, maybe he didn't, but I don't care. I'm gonna have some fun with this thing. I've got to cater to this guy all day long. So I'm gonna serve him breakfast in bed. And I know how he likes his coffee. And I'll stir that up. That'll be the first thing he'll put his lips on. Let's hotten him up here a little bit. And he usually likes a splash in there. He's gonna love me for this. Room service. Good morning, sunshine.
Oh, you're gonna treat me like a king?
Yes, sir. You won the contest, buddy. And I'm not sure I think that's cantaloupe. Does it taste hot?
Oh my goodness, it tastes like cayenne pepper. Dennis, get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
Number 15. Rob's cockiness comes across different than Russell's, at least in my opinion. Maybe it's the charisma. Maybe it's because in 2 separate seasons of Survivor plus The Amazing Race, you see how Rob could have won every time. Either way, he calls his shot here.
I'm not a passenger, I'm the driver. I think just the biggest thing I can do to keep myself in the game is to let my teammates know that I'm gonna be an asset to them. And look, if you take me with you to the end, there's no way in hell anybody's gonna give me $1 million. But I promise you, when I get to the end, they'll give it to me.
Number 16. A lot of these behind the scenes tribal council tours with Jeff result in him attempting to be funny. Sometimes it fails and sometimes it works. Here, I will leave that for you to decide.
Maybe it was time, after 22 seasons, to do something I've never done before. I'm voting out all the survivors. I'm sorry. And it is my pleasure to say, not only to TV Guide, but to all the former survivors, it is time for you to go. Turn your camera, we've done this many times, like that, and just keep walking, follow that right out there, and when it gets really dark, just start crying for help.
Number 17. In the preview for each season, we get the usual stuff, a focus on the castaways, the twists, Jeff's thoughts, and them saying, wow, this season might be the best one ever. Yeah. But have you ever wanted some info on the medical team?
The medical team for Survivor, we all come from Australia. I bring a couple of doctors, some paramedics, and a couple of nurses. And we basically run a clinic that runs from morning till late at night. If a contestant, if something happens there, we'll stabilize them on the beach where they are or in the jungle. And then we've got a helicopter on standby and we'll put them in the helicopter and fly them to a hospital. We've also got very dangerous snakes in Nicaragua. So we have to stock things like anti-venom and we have to clue in the crew and the contestants on how to deal with snake bites and scorpion bites and different insect bites as well.
Number 18. So, what inspired the art team this season to create Redemption Island? They're on Nicaragua again, so it's not a new location. So what gave them the motivation to do something unique with the challenges and everything else you see?
For this season, they concentrated on sort of a pre-Columbian, Mesoamerican, Central American design motif.
Well, this season we've kind of gone for more the ancient local style. We're doing a lot of this kind of stone carvings they've found in the local islands around here and the volcanic islands in the lake. Things like the pots and the stone carvings, you know, we buy them locally or have them made locally. Like we design these pots and just get them to paint them up for us to match what we need. There's a lot of really skilled local people and it's really fun working with them. Wish I spoke more Spanish because that'd be a lot handier and it would be easier to communicate.
Number 19. Every season we hear about how long it takes to do the tribal council set. Usually it falls somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks for it all to be built. I imagine this is probably the biggest thing that the production team makes every season, but what I didn't realize is how long it takes to build some of these challenges.
This first immunity challenge took about 5 weeks to build. The first stake went in about 5 weeks ago, and the last bit of paint went on moments before we started.
Number 20. In season 12, we saw the first ever child to be a loved one for Shane Powers, but it wasn't until season 40 when we actually saw everyone get their kids, no matter how many they had, come visit them. Apparently, season 22 was going to do it first if a certain someone wasn't voted out and if they are to be trusted.
You see, what they're not showing you is, we talked a while. He said, what does it mean to me? The reason I broke down right there wasn't because I just lost the game of Survivor, because I lost a lot due to the game of Survivor, including my marriage, everything. My plan that season was to bring my kids back to the show, have them both. It was going to be the first time ever both of them were going to get invited to the loved ones visit, and I was going to apologize to them on national television for swearing on their lives. That it went way deeper than what you really see right here.
Number 21. Ralph ruining Russell's game is always funny to me. Now, it does help tank the season, so overall it was a net negative, but the moment it happens is legendary. Well, Russell was none too pleased about this, as you might imagine, especially after he was out of the game.
The Ralph show, I don't know why he even opened his stupid big mouth. The Ralphie show, because it was the Russell show the 2 seasons I played. So Ralph wants to be big and famous, like Russell. So he's throwing it out there. It's the Ralphie show. You know, just because he found an idol doesn't mean he can play the game. You have to know how to use the idol, Ralph. You have to know how to keep your mouth shut on the other tribe. Tell your alliance, which I'm sure they know you have it, but don't tell the other tribe you have it, dumbass.
Number 22. Did you know that after Survivor, Matt Elrod changed his name to Wyatt Nash and has starred in quite a few shows on TV? He even starred in a cheesy Hallmark movie called Like Cats and Dogs.
It's the Spring Fling movie you won't want to miss.
This whole place is ours. 2 whole weeks.
2 total strangers.
This is home for the next 2 weeks.
1 giant mix-up.
I was here first. See?
It appears as though we have ourselves a problem.
Since we had to compromise, we might as well set some ground rules.
Will opposites attract? Cassidy Gifford stars in Like Cats and Dogs, an all-new Spring Fling movie.
Number 23. I love when people make bad calls about how the game will play out. Here we have a couple of bad calls, one by Francesca and one by Jeff Probst.
Sarita is a favorite from the moment I met her. That's a guy after my heart because that's how I approach Survivor as well. This isn't about friends. This is about $1 million. Mike could definitely make it far, and Mike has social skills to win. Christina Kell, another favorite. And if I had to guess, she'll be one of the people that might make some big moves to try to win.
Mark my words. Watch, I'm gonna win.
In the end, we'll see who's the last one standing, and I think it's gonna be me.
Redemption Island awaits, and one of those guys or girls is gonna come back in the game. I have a feeling we're gonna be talking about this season in high regard when it's over.
Number 24. Why did Phillip wear pink underwear? Did the show force him to? Was this part of the wardrobe he wanted and didn't realize it would be such a big deal? Well, here's what he claims after the season is done airing.
I didn't mind doing it because I knew that I would get tremendous amount of television time, camera time. I mean, for the first 3 weeks, you know, it seemed like it was all Phillip everywhere. I was in Ellen DeGeneres, what was the other one? The Soup every week had a lead-in with me. I made the Bullseye for Entertainment Weekly. I don't recall any of the other contestants being involved in that out of 18 other people. So for me, it was a win-win. For Survivor, they got tremendous viewership. For me, I got tremendous exposure.
Number 25. We are almost to the time in the show's history when the winners are just given their $1 million checks at the reunion, but that's not yet, not this season at least. Rob is given it the next day on TV, which I'm sure Amber loves that she isn't the only breadwinner around here. By the way, if you want to see the entire Rob and Amber story, I cover this in a feature-length video that starts with All-Stars and goes all the way to today. Links in the description.
You want that check, don't you?
You've been eyeing that thing. Can we get this check?
I would love it.
Can we get this check for this man, please? Now, this is a big check, which means you're going to have to go to a very big bank to cash it. But there you go, young man.
Thank you. Thank you
$1 million. How about a round of applause for Rob Mariano, Boston Rob, who finally takes home $1 million after 4 tries. I mean, if you hadn't won this time, I don't know what we were going to do.
Number 26. Krista and Stephanie were Russell's lackeys this season, and without him, we see them basically done for. Their games were over. I think they hinged way too much on Russell taking them far, with them not understanding that in the seasons Russell got far, he had a lot more help than the show wanted you to believe. Well, anyways, they do a horrible job at convincing people to keep them in this secret scene.
Stephanie and Krista come out to watch, and they end up doing gymnastics on the beach. You know, once again, they're kind of showing their cards. They're not really pulling their weight.
Stephanie and I have been bored out of our minds, just floating around the island. We did some handstand contests, exercise, and we laid out for a little bit. Then we washed her hair, and then she braided my hair. Oh, I'm George Washington. Hello, I'm George Washington.
Number 27. What is a good reason to blindside someone? Maybe so they don't steal your bedding.
When Stephanie was packing up for tribal council tonight, she had a pretty good idea that she was going to be voted off. So she decided to pack up this entire blanket that was enormous. I mean, it could have fit 3 Stephanies, maybe 4, and put it in her bag to go to Redemption Island.
Steve had mentioned, I don't want her to take all of the bedding. Stephanie has a ton of bedding that we knew she'd take with her. And we're freezing here and wet and we need it. So I just did a quick swap. I switched out her bedding out of her satchel with a smaller, ample bedding set. Woods, okay?
Yeah, sure.
I just kind of sat there and was just like, oh, I am so happy I did that. That is the slap in the face that I really have been wanting to give her.
Number 28. I can only imagine being on Survivor and thinking about food 24/7. On occasion, we see some people talk about how much they enjoy to fantasize about food. We see others say they wish no one would ever talk about this ever, it just makes it worse. Well, this season, for the remaining players on Redemption, they straight up are making whole menus.
90% of our conversations revolve around food.
Food has become nothing shy of a complete obsession.
Yes.
For both of us.
Agreed.
So, luckily we got pencils in our toolkits.
Yes.
And we've been using our tree mail to write down restaurants, menus, and even creating desserts, all of which will come to fruition once we're back into the land of the living. Dinner, I was just thinking about that.
I was just doing some reading, except the passage about do not worry about anything, and it was like, don't worry about what food and drink and clothes you will wear and things you will do and all that stuff, and I was like, that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Yeah, but we're not worrying about it, we're just
fantasizing.
Rejoicing over it.
Rejoicing over things to come.
Yes.
Number 29. Would you let Phillip give you a massage? Why do I even ask this? Well, because he offers everyone, and only one person takes him up on it, so is he any good?
What's going on over there?
She's getting a massage without interruption.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Phillip likes to give massages, especially to me, and at first I was like, this is creepy, but he's actually a very good masseuse, and in a weird way, it was kind of enjoyable.
That's the first time I've been able to give the massage because the other girls don't let me touch them. So I was surprised when Andrea said, you can give me a massage.
I don't care if Andrea says it was the best massage she's ever had in her life. I would never in a million years let him massage my back.
Number 30. Some people can be absolutely ruthless at Final Tribal Council. Julie this season apparently was the one who got under the skin of the Final 3, as after Final Tribal is done, they take revenge.
Julie made up that whole story tonight at Tribal Council about Natalie and the rocks and me telling her to go get a rock. It wasn't even true. It never happened. But ironically, today, before I left camp, I saw these 2 rocks that Julie painted for her daughters. And out of the goodness of my heart, I said, I'm gonna put them in my bag and I'm gonna bring them and give them to her. So, Julie, I was gonna give these to you, but instead, we're gonna leave them here in Nicaragua. Ready? Feel better?
Feels way better already.
All right.
Number 31. How does Boston Rob feel about playing against an all-newbie cast that most fans consider complete buffoons? Let's find out.
Are you happy about that?
You know what? Look, here's the thing. Like I said to Jeff in the live show tonight, there was a lot of hard work that went into getting to me to where I was in this game. At the same time, I wasn't playing with, strategic geniuses, but you have to understand, I have baggage coming into this game. So just like Russell, they could have turned around and voted me out right away, but at least I was able to, say, look, I have the experience of playing 3 times. I can take this and I can help you in this game. In all actuality, I want to help myself. You know what I mean? But I was able to get my foot in the door. And by doing that, I was able to start to create relationships and have them flourish that ultimately took me to the end.
So which secret surprised you the most? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.